It was the first day of sophomore year at Kingston High, and while most students were buzzing with excitement and laughter, Amara Brooks walked through the school gates with her usual quiet grace. Her dark brown eyes scanned the hallway filled with lockers clanging, sneakers squeaking, and voices echoing like a wave. She kept her backpack tight on her shoulders and moved like a shadow, present but unnoticed. Her deep brown skin, braided hair, and tall, poised stature made her stand out naturally, but Amara had perfected the art of blending in. She had learned to keep her head down, speak softly, and never draw attention. That's how she survived. Amara had transferred to Kingston High just a year ago when her mother got a new job across town. It wasn't easy being that new girl, especially when you were also one of the only black students in a school where cliques were carved out like territories. Everyone already had their friends, their groups, their inside jokes. And when you're different, they don't just notice, they stare, they whisper, and sometimes, they act. It started subtly. A snide comment here. A whispered laugh there. A locker that mysteriously got jammed. A homework paper that suddenly went missing. But Amara didn't react. She didn't give them the satisfaction. What they didn't know was that Amara was no stranger to adversity. Her mother had raised her with strength, reminding her that, when the world tests you, you answer not with your fists, but with your fire. So Amara focused on her studies, read her books during lunch, and stayed after school for tutoring, avoiding confrontation at all costs. But for some people, silence is an invitation to escalate. Enter Brittany, Lauren, and Haley, three girls who ruled the school's social scene with perfectly manicured hands and biting tongues. Brittany, the self-declared queen bee, saw Amara as a threat without reason. Maybe it was the way Amara didn't need validation to feel whole. Maybe it was because her intelligence outshone theirs, even in silence. Or maybe it was simply because Brittany didn't understand her, and what people don't understand, they fear, or worse, try to destroy. One Thursday morning in October, everything changed. Amara had just finished presenting a project in her literature class. She spoke passionately about Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, her voice firm, eyes unwavering. Her teacher, Mr. Carter, had clapped at the end, visibly moved. The class followed suit, some clapping, others just stunned into silence. Brittany, watching from the back, clenched her jaw. That was the moment she decided, Amara needed to be put in her place. After class, Amara walked toward her locker, her books cradled in her arms. The hallway had thinned out, and the final bell was minutes from ringing. Just as she reached for her combination lock, she felt a sudden tug, sharp, violent. Her collar was yanked backward, almost choking her. The books in her hand tumbled to the floor with a loud crash. She staggered, gasping, and spun around. Brittany stood there, smug, flanked by Lauren and Haley. "Who do you think you are, princess?" she sneered. "Coming in here, acting like you're better than everyone. This isn't your little poetry club. It's high school. Welcome to reality." Amara's breath caught in her throat, not from fear, but from the sudden attention of several students who had begun to gather. Phones came out. Whispers turned into murmurs. Her collar still clenched in Brittany's hand, she was on the verge of being humiliated in front of the entire corridor. But something shifted in Amara that day. Something deep, ancient, and powerful, like the roots of a tree that had been weathering storms in silence. Her eyes locked with Brittany's, and for the first time since she arrived at Kingston, she didn't look away. "Let go," Amara said quietly. Her voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It was calm, firm, unchallenged. Brittany blinked, surprised. She tightened her grip. "I said, let go." And then, slowly but deliberately, Amara reached up, removed Brittany's hand from her collar, and took a step back. The hallway was frozen. You could hear a pin drop. But it was what Amara did next that shocked everyone. She bent down, picked up her books with a dignity that couldn't be stolen, then stood up and faced Brittany once more. "You can try to humiliate me, but I won't break. I've faced worse than you. And I'll still rise." There was something in her voice, something that didn't match the fear people expected from a victim. It was strength. It was pride. It was fire. Before Brittany could respond, Mr. Carter's voice boomed from down the hallway. "What's going on here?" Students began to scatter like leaves in the wind. Brittany stepped back, her cheeks flushed. Nothing. We were just talking. Amara didn't speak. She didn't need to. The truth was already written across every face in that hallway. Mr. Carter looked from Amara to Brittany, then narrowed his eyes. Amara, come with me. You too, Brittany. The walk to the principal's office was silent. But inside Amara, a storm was beginning to brew, not one of vengeance, but of purpose. That night, Amara sat in her room and wrote down everything she felt, every moment of shame, every time she was underestimated, every time someone tried to dim her light. And from that pain, she began crafting something bigger. A speech. A movement. A story that the world needed to hear.